All right, what's up, everyone? Today we're going to go through the weekly outlook for June the 30th to July the 4th. A lot of things to go over coming to this week with the markets rallying towards all-time highs. We've had very nice pushes on the Qs along with the SPY as well. All those major indices hit all-time highs. We still have a little bit of room on the futures chart. Before we dive into that, let's talk about the key economic events coming into this week. First things first, we do have Fed Chair Powell speaking. That's going to be at 9:30 on Tuesday. Keep that in mind. We also have some more red folder news, ISM along with JOLTS on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, non-farm enrollment. Thursday, unemployment as per usual, along with the non-farm enrollment change, and ISM on Thursday at 10 a.m. just because Friday we do have a holiday for everyone that's in the US, Independence Day for July 1st. For the Canadians, we do have that day as well. So for some technical analysis, let's go into the daily chart that we have on the ES. So thesis for this coming week, SPY and Qs hit all-time highs last week. The last thing to hit all-time highs is for ES. Now we do have the end of quarter coming up at the end of the month. What I would like to see, could be some rebalancing before that happens. What I like to see is the ES gravitate towards the 6245 and the 6288 on the higher time frame. So coming into this week, we do have the end of quarter coming up along with the end of month. At the very end, you'll see a lot of the times we do have quite a bit of rebalancing. So on Friday, you see we had a lot of volatility at the end of the day just because we have rebalancing coming into the end of quarter. So moving forward, what I would like to see is the reaction that we have off of your 6245 along with our 6288 on the higher time frames. This is really your all-time highs here for the ES. Since SPY's already at all-time highs, QQQ's already at all-time highs, the last thing to hit all-time highs is going to be the ES. So if we go on to now, we can go back onto the lower time frames, go onto the 1 hour chart. Key levels I have coming into market open here for Monday is going to be the low, which is our level of support 6160. The next levels that we have to get above, if we do want to see any sort of continuation, is going to be our Friday's highs 6236 here on the higher time frames. Let's go on to the next chart that we have, which is the SPY. Similar thing, SPY rallying towards the upside towards your all-time highs on this name. QQQ was the first one to hit and SPY was next. Now what I'd like to see is a reaction that we have off of your previous all-time highs key level. So if we go into the SPY chart, as you can see here, what I have marked out is your previous all-time highs. We can remove this. Previous all-time high 613 here for the SPY. If we now go back onto the 15-minute chart, key levels moving forward is going to be your 61250. This is the level we like to see maintain if we want to see any sort of continued push towards the upside. You can see on Friday, we end up trying to close back above your previous all-time highs. So this is going to be your key level 61250, and then we're also going to mark out your Friday's highs, which is now your all-time highs here on the SPY. So as long as you maintain above your 613, I like to see continuation higher. Any possible scenario for continuation lower is going to be underneath your previous day lows and also underneath this key pivot level here as well, 611. So if markets get underneath your 611, I'll be a little bit more inclined to the short side. But overall, higher time frames bullish, market structure still intact. We like to see all dips get bought up on the major indices. Next chart that we do have here is for the NQ. All markets rallying towards the upside. NQ is now having a mini reaction around the 22,737 key level. What I like to see is the move towards your all-time highs on the future contracts being the 22,870. So for the NQ, similar thesis to the ES, as you can see here, the SPY and Qs hit all-time highs. Future contracts are next. For the NQ, we end up gravitating towards our 22,740. Next level, all-time highs here on the future contracts, 22,870. Go on to the 1 hour chart. Key levels is going to be now the reclaim and hold back above your 22,740 for this push back up in towards your 22,870. 870 here on the higher time frame. So that's what we have for the NQ. If we go into the QQQ, we are above your all-time highs being all the way back towards your 540. So for the QQQ, let me just have this marked out correctly. 540 is your key level. So this is really your previous all-time highs. So price could come all the way back down towards your 541 and still be very much bullish here on the higher time frame. So key level 541. We're also going to mark out other levels like your Thursday's highs, your previous day highs. We have a bunch of other key levels here on the QQQ for support. So what we'll do is see how markets open up coming into Monday, and then we'll develop a more in-depth game plan from there. As for a few other charts coming into this week, Tesla, not really too much to say on this name. Markets at all-time highs and Tesla is lagging behind. What I would like to see on this name is the reaction that we have off your 310 lows. This is the level of support that you would like to see hold. We will have to go on to the lower time frames in order to get a more clear picture on the lower time frame trends. So for Tesla, just by looking at this daily chart, you can see no real clear trend. It's consolidating a little bit more than anything here as the markets are moving higher. Tesla, right? We had that nice pop on last Monday with Robotaxi, but eventually sold back off. So for Tesla coming into this week, what I would like to see now is the reaction that we have off your 312, which is the low of the range. And now it's going to be this 332. So this is the original consolidation in the area that we had. We had that nice push higher, and now we're right back into this box. So for Tesla, we're going to keep an eye out on your 332, top of the range, bottom of the range, 312. If you want to see any sort of continuation higher, it's going to be above this 332. If price kind of consolidates, breaks back underneath this 312, that's where you're going to see a little bit more continuation towards the downside. So that's what we have here for Tesla. It's going to a few other names that we have in this case. NVDA right now, you can see that this name is leading the market towards the upside. Semiconductors have been strong. Now that NVIDIA is above all-time highs, you can see all major dips get bought up on the higher time frames. The level that you like to see hold is your 152. So for NVIDIA, semiconductors, I've been talking about the SMH for a minute now. This one leading the market towards the upside. Semiconductors are the most strongest compared to every other tech sector. So for NVIDIA, we're at all-time highs. Now you like to see all dips back down in towards your 152.80s for continuation towards the upside. So all dips on this one, you can expect to get bought up. Other key levels now we're going to have marked out. We'll mark out brand new levels here coming into Monday, but we have your last week's highs, which is going to be your Friday's highs, and we have your previous all-time highs. Personally, I like to see kind of the pullback for this continuation higher, or now we're going to be waiting for the break above your 158.50 for more continuation higher. As for Apple lagging the overall markets. NQ is at all-time highs while Apple is not really doing too much but consolidating. As for this name, I like to see this wedge pattern break to either side. Lots of liquidity being built up on this one. The range is getting tighter and tighter here. So for Apple, you can see the range is getting fairly tight. We had a nice range earlier, but now you can see very much tight range here on Apple, set to have a big move soon in either direction. So for Apple, what I would like to see now is the reaction that we have off of the very small kind of range that we're going to develop, right? We do have this wedge pattern that we are forming here. So what I would like to see for some more upside, break above key levels, really 205 is the trigger level. If we show a little bit more weakness, potentially we could gravitate back down towards your 192. So for Apple, key levels that we're going to have marked out now coming into this week is just going to be your equilibrium 201. We can also mark out this range, and then also mark out 195. We can even mark out a tighter range. You can see last week's price action, very tight range, in between a 4-point range for the whole week on this name. As for a few other charts, AMD, this one continuing to move nicely as well. One of the major semiconductors that is leading the market back higher. Semi's pushing up nicely here with AMD leading its way. This one had a very nice move with news in the past few weeks driving this name towards the upside. Now that AMD is green on the year, what I like to see is a consolidation around the 143 key level. So for AMD, if we go into the daily chart, you can see that we had a red to green on the year for AMD. This is basically the open here at 2025 now. We're green for the year here on AMD. What I would like to see is one of two things: consolidation around your 143 and then potentially make its next leg higher, or right, if it consolidates, it potentially could even pull back down in towards this 132, 128, and that's going to be the next higher low here for AMD. At least on the lower time frames, after this really big push higher, we're now just going to mark out your 147, and we can also mark out your 141 and play off these levels coming into Monday and the rest of the week. As for Meta, right now you can see that Meta broke outside the consolidation from 700 key level. Now Meta is pushing back towards the 740 all-time highs. That is the next level I'd like to see the reaction off of. So for Meta, this one finally breaking outside the range that we have, which is your 700 and the 680. Next levels is going to be the 740 here on the higher time frames. So that's the level I'd like to see the market gravitate towards. If we go on to, let's now go back onto Meta. So if we go back onto this, as you can see here for Meta, this is going to be our key levels. 705, we also have your 740 here as well. I like to see all dips get bought up for a continued push back up and towards your 740.89 and above here. So really strong breakout last week. Next levels is going to be your all-time highs on this name. And then finally, what I do have is Amazon, one of my favorite names coming to this week. Right now, you can see that Amazon is breaking out on Friday. This is breaking out towards the upside key, breaking outside of the 218. Also has Prime Week coming up as well. So I'd like to see the run up I'd like to see the run up on this name. Key levels being 225 and above. So this one has Prime Week coming up on Amazon. So we're having this nice break outside of this 218. Next levels are going to be right towards the upside, where you can mark out levels all the way back from the left. But this one, really strong breakout here on the daily time frame. I do expect continuation. Next levels, really, we're just going to mark out right 230 and then potentially your all-time highs, which is going to be your 244 on Amazon. So this one does have Prime Week and it's shaping up nicely here on the daily time frame. So we are expecting more continuation on a lot of these tickers. So that is going to be for the weekly outlook for the week of June 30th to July the 4th. We'll have a more in-depth game plan coming to market open. As always, that is going to be at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning for the pre-market prep. All right, take care, everyone.